When is the World Braille Day observed every year? Option B 4 January. On which date the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas observed every year? Option B 9 January. When is World Hindi Day celebrated every year? Option B 10 January. When is National Youth Day celebrated every year? Option C 12 January. When is Indian Army Day celebrated every year? Option D 15 January. On which date the National Startup Day observed in India? Option C 16 January. When is Parakram Divas celebrated every year in India? Option C 23 January. When is National Girl Child Day celebrated every year? Option C 24 January. When is National Voters Day celebrated every year? Option B 25 January. When is Indian Coast Guard Day celebrated every year? Option C 1 February. When is the World Pulses Day observed every year? Option A 10 February. When is National Women's Day celebrated every year? Option D 13 February. When is National Productivity Day celebrated every year in India? Option B 12 February. Which day is celebrated as Golden Tourism Resilience Day? Option A 17 February. When is World NGO Day celebrated every year? Option B 27 February. When is National Science Day celebrated every year? Option C 28 February. When is World Civil Defense Day celebrated every year? Option B 1 March. When is International Women's Day celebrated every year? Option B 8 March. When is World Consumer Rights Day celebrated every year? Option C 15 March. When is International Day of Happiness celebrated every year? Option C 20 March. When is World Forestry Day celebrated every year? Option B 21 March. When is World Water Day celebrated every year? Option B 22 March. When is National Maritime Day celebrated every year? Option C 5 April. When is International Mine Awareness Day observed every year? Option B 4 April. When is World Health Day celebrated every year? Option B 7 April. When is World Homeopathy Day celebrated every year? Option C 10 April. When is World Art Day celebrated every year? Option D 15 April. When is the World Heritage Day celebrated every year? Option C 18 April. When is the World Book and Copyright Day observed every year? Option C 23 April. When is the World Press Freedom Day celebrated every year? Option B 3rd May. When is the International Thalassemia Day observed every year? Option B 8 May. Which day is observed as World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day? Option B 8 May. Which day is celebrated as International Day of Light every year? Option B 16 May. When is the National Anti-Terrorism Day observed every year? Option C 21st May. When is the International Biodiversity Day celebrated every year? Option A 22nd May. Which day is observed as World Preeclampsia Day annually? Option A 22nd May. When is World Hunger Day observed every year? Option C 28 May. When is Hindi Journalism Day celebrated every year? Option C 30 May. When is World No Tobacco Day observed every year? Option D 31st May. When is World Bicycle Day celebrated every year? Option B 3rd June. When is World Environment Day celebrated every year? Option C 5th June. When is World Food Safety Day celebrated every year? Option C 7 June. When is World Blood Donor Day celebrated every year? Option C 14 June. When is World Music Day celebrated every year? Option C 21st June. When is World Refugee Day observed every year? Option B 20 June. Which day is observed as Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Day every year? Option B 27 June. When is World Sports Journalist Day celebrated every year? Option B 2nd July. When is World Population Day celebrated every year? Option C 11th July. When is the World Youth Skills Day celebrated every year? Option B 15 July. When is the International Tiger Day observed every year? Option C 29 July.